I have been comfortable in my self contained solitude for most of my life, finding little worlds of wonder, joy, and sensuality alone. Sharing my body and mind with someone else has always been my growing edge, but through the years, it's taught me what true intimacy actually looks like. If we're brave, our sensitivities and our desires can be roadmaps to a deeply fulfilling love life. There is so much good that can be done here, and so many ways that romance and true intimacy can be invited into this moment. So, thank you so much for being here. Like so many of these videos, they are a response to feeling very unguided in this world of sex and especially men, and then queerness. Like, literally no education outside of anatomically what happens in bed. I get this question a lot about how to stop performing, how to get out of your head during sex, and so many different things feed into the way that we live in our bodies. The pressure to perform has been deeply ingrained in all of us in this patriarchy that we're living in. And for me, it has manifested as from a young age feeling like I need to put on a happy face for other people, feeling like I need to flirt back with people who are flirting with me, even if I'm not interested, just out of safety and fear of making someone else uncomfortable, having obligational sex, having painful sex and not saying anything. This one time I went home with a girl and she used a strap on me, and her bed was right in front of this AC machine. So this fan was blowing cold ass air onto me for hours. I was so excited, turned on. And then an hour later, all of that moistness just dissipated. And I tried to use my saliva, and she kept using the strap on, and it was actually really painful. And I didn't say anything because I didn't want to ruin the vibe. I didn't want to make her feel bad. And I could have just been like, wait, can we turn off the fan? So I just want to start off this video by sharing my pre-sex intimacy checklist. This is something I've developed through the years, a methodology, if you will, of forms of intimacy that I find very important to reach with someone before actually engaging in the physical act, because it can take you away from connection if you don't have a felt sense of safety. Essentially, having good sex is about being in your body and being present. Instead of asking, am I performing good enough? Am I making the other person feel good? Checking in with yourself and asking yourself, what am I feeling right now? What feels good? Is there anything that I want more of? Is there something I want less of? And normalizing communication throughout the whole process of lovemaking with someone else. And this can look simple, like, can we slow down, and looking into someone's eyes? For me, if I am having a little bit more of a quickie or having rough sex, I need to kiss them at least once every 10 minutes. Otherwise, the trauma that lives in my body will make me feel like I'm just getting assaulted, or like something really intense is happening without that loving, intimate connection of a kiss. So sometimes I'll be like, oh, can we slow down? Or I don't think I want to do this position anymore. Noticing if I'm in my head about the way that my body looks, if I'm trying to impress someone, if I'm way more focused on their pleasure than my own. These are signs for me that I'm a little in my head, and returning back to sensation. What feels good right now? Is there anything I want more of? Is there anything that I want less of? And normalizing this communication within yourself will really help you to share it with someone else. So I've always recommended masturbating in front of a mirror, and maybe you just do this once, but talking yourself through your own pleasure. So as you're touching yourself, affirming as if you were a lover, I really like the way that feels. I want a little bit more of that. I want that to be a little bit slower. I want a little bit less pressure. Oh yeah, that lighter pressure feels good. That's going to make me come. Saying these things out loud to yourself in the mirror, if you are someone who is shy but wants to learn how to communicate and advocate for your pleasure, trust me, if you're hesitant to do it, it's a sign that you should. And the ability to see yourself from different angles, with cellulite, with body hair, with dry skin, with rolls, with being bloated, all of that is going to help you to enjoy sex more. If you have a lot of sexual trauma, highly recommend spending a lot of time with your own body, masturbating, loving yourself up. And even with my friends, after getting out of really intense breakups, I'll ask them to hold me with all the love they have in their heart. And it might sound corny, but I noticed that I would feel like, oh, the last hands that touched me were full of so much manipulation or lies or pain, and I let them into my body. And I just really want to be held with love right now. And so I would tell my friends this, and they would just have a moment where they charge themselves up with the highest, deepest love and wrap their arms around me And it felt so good to be touched with loving hands. I really need that. And if you have a tendency to disassociate during sex, you can ask your partner to check in with you throughout your lovemaking. So this can be a conversation beforehand. Hey, sometimes it can feel almost violating when I'm having sex because I'll disassociate and I don't know how to communicate stopping or switching things up. And do you mind asking me throughout our lovemaking if I'm feeling okay? Because sometimes I get too shy to ask that myself. Normalize feedback before sex, during sex, after sex. Normalize the conversation. And for whatever reason, specifically with women, I have had so many more conversations about sex before we actually engage in the act, like the things that we like, the things that we want to discover and try out, the things that turn us on. And I really like mutual masturbation, like just masturbating with the girlie that you have a crush on and getting to know how they pleasure their body in that way, because it can be really intimidating. Everybody is so different. And I think that the first few times you have sex with someone, releasing the expectation of it being just as good as it was with a partner who you've maybe had many years of experience with, or releasing the expectation that both of you will finish and just making it about learning how someone feels pleasure and drawing out that excitement and anticipation. And it's actually been scientifically proven that anticipation is something that really builds pleasure, especially in the vulva. It's something that can get you incredibly wet and turned on, which is why moving slowly and stimulating the body in every way before you actually touch the clitoris will make the orgasm feel even better. This whole video could be summarized in one sentence, which is to be as present as possible with your pleasure, because then you'll communicate, oh, I'm a little shy, I have never done this before, I'm feeling a little intimidated, but it's because I just want to make you feel so good. And will you show me how to do that? It's also like after a few years of being in a relationship, you form these patterns and grooves and it's less explorative. And so just reframing the mindset around encountering a new body, a new landscape for pleasure and desire, and asking a lot of those check-in questions. Are you okay with fingers inside of you? Do you like just one? Do you want another one? Do you like this pressure? Do you like this speed? Confidence comes from curiosity, self-trust, and communication. It's simple, you know, it's humbling. The more that you engage with someone physically, the more information that you get and the better the lovemaking will get if communication can be a natural part. So don't feel too much shame if you didn't get a girl to the finish line or you didn't have good sex the first time and it was kind of awkward. Like, if you can just talk about it and laugh about it and be like, damn, I'm out of practice, or, you know, make it light, then there's space for both of you to keep on having fun and it will just keep getting better and better inevitably. And bringing that lightness to it, you know, like it's not that serious. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. And if you are feeling like you have hella trauma and it's really intimidating, communicating that as well and bringing that up as a neutral conversation, because people can be in two completely different worlds when they're having sex and the words are the only bridge. So please be the one who is audacious and sets the tone for how open and communicative you're willing to be, like getting into all the nitty-gritty. No one is born knowing how to be good at sex. It really is a learned skill. And in my opinion, the best sex that I've had are with people who are patient and confident enough in their ability that they don't rush. That's just been a variable in all of the best sex I've ever had, is this feeling that we don't have to rush. Like, I can be teased, I can be taunted with my orgasm, and it can not even happen, but because they're so confident that eventually they will make it happen, it's just the best ever. And over the past few years in general, I've been unpacking my relationship to what spirituality is and how I want to embody it. And having spiritual sex doesn't just mean having like the deepest, longest, mature orgasm or eye gazing or doing tantric breathing with someone. It is about letting the raw animal of my body love what it loves and express how it wants to express. I've had extremely life-changing quickies and I've had hours long sessions of lovemaking that were also just as good. You know, like there's no formula other than to be there with your body, to be fully regulated with someone else. The deepest sexual experiences I've had have revolved around being seen, trusting someone entirely with my body, mind, and spirit, and being accepted and completely emotionally vulnerable. There are times when I've cried during sex. There are times when I've screamed and cackled and just bursted out laughing with my partner because they're so funny. And all of that has been deeply spiritual and life-changing. But someone did ask me how to make sex feel more spiritual and intentional. And it really is just about knowing what place you're moving from, knowing whether you're having sex to be less stressed, to connect with your partner, or if you're having sex to get validation. I also really like to amplify my orgasm. It's just something I do every now and then, which is think about all of my greatest dreams and desires or all of my answered prayers in my life. And right before I climax, just saying thank you and having that really be amplified by my pleasure, like full body chills, shakes, knowing that this orgasm is an extension of all the goodness, all the aliveness in my life, and how incredibly blessed and worthy I am. Like really charging beautiful, positive things with that peak of pleasure. So that's something that feels really good for me. But overall, not having any specific formulas other than knowing that it is an act of honoring my body, my desire, my voice, having my sensuality be something for me first that people are getting to experience. Right now, being celibate and dressing hella mask most days has made me feel so close to myself and really sexy. Like I actually have a lot of masculine energy that presents in the way that I love, and it just feels really good to honor each of these passing expressions as they come and go day by day and see the kind of energy that it brings out in me. I just really want to clarify that it doesn't matter how you look or how you're presenting. Sensual energy is not only for femme people. Feeling in your senses, excited about life, excited to say yes and excited to say no is something that you can access at any time. And there's a way that you can empower yourself in each moment through honoring what your expression is and what your body is needing. Not to leave space for ambiguity or potential if I know that I don't want that with someone. So I'll only hang out with someone one-on-one if I'm their friend, if I'm learning from them and we're doing some kind of skill share, or if those clear words have been spoken. From this point forward, I do not hang out one-on-one with people without just being really clear on what it means. You are really protecting your innocence every time that you state a boundary. It is all really a practice of opening yourself up to other people without abandoning yourself. And you can do this by knowing what you want, like speaking that immediately right off the bat. And people can lie and manipulate for sure, but not overriding your intuition, watching their actions over their words, asking direct questions, and having a life filled with stable anchors of love. I personally do not emotionally attach to someone and rely on them for anything until after like a year. In general, I take into cautious consideration the people that I'm fully letting in to my heart, not relying on romantic partnerships or sexual partnerships for your sense of validation is going to change your life. And listen, as a woman, I am so grateful that I've had all of these years to discover who I am. Every year I become more radical. I know myself more. What I do in my free time is feed into all of my hobbies, my areas of study, learning how to be a better friend and communicator. And I also help to financially support my family. So all of this makes me feel a sense of wholeness, and it doesn't matter to me whether or not I am getting attention from someone who wants my love or someone who wants to have sex with me. Like that is the least of my worries and the last place that I root my self-confidence. And because of that, it has changed my dating life so much. It can be something that is just fun and light. It can be something that I do not lose myself in. I just value long-term connection. That has kept me feeling so incredibly free and so incredibly safe. And that's something that I look for in other people as well, that they have multiple passions and areas where love is being stimulated in their life, and they're not solely relying on me for their sense of validation, on a romantic partnership to be the center of their life. And maybe that is a value of yours that you really believe in, and you'll find someone who matches that energy. But for me, I really believe in two people inspiring each other to live, to become the best versions of themselves, the most, I don't want to say like intellectual, the most productive, but the most free. Again, it just takes a lot of honesty, and that's really what I'm looking for and what I have found in my love life recently. This past year and a half really is like meeting people that are committed to discovering who they are and being good people in this world. When you have shared values and a shared dream, I feel like love is inevitable. All of your boundaries, all of your fears, all of your insecurities, and all of your immense worthiness can be supported by having a really good relationship to sex. So those are my thoughts. Thank you so much for listening and engaging in this conversation with me. And if you have any thoughts or feedback or questions, please leave them in the comments below, because I would love to see. And I'm slowly losing my voice, but I really appreciate you staying for this one. Bye, and best of luck wherever you're at. There is so much love to be had and experienced as a daily act that is safe. So may all of us find that and be that.